Mr. Ogbole, hearing from Mr. Akase now, do you still hold on to that notion that there is apathy on the part of the federal government?
Every life of Nigerians matter. And when we talk about this, it's important to note that reduction in the killings is a welcome development, but there shouldn't be killings at all, because every Nigerian life matters. So if they are trying so far, more needs to be done, and it needs to be done fast. I strongly believe that the Nigerian security apparatus has enough, armaments, enough training, and enough zeal to be able to flush these matters out within 1 week or within 1 month. This can actually be ended. This can actually be solved. But the question is, how many more lives will this situation take before this monster is brought to justice? Every Nigerian life matters. So it's not a reduction in killing we're talking about. It's a total end, a total stop to the killings in Nigeria. That's what we're going for.
Mr. Ogbole, when we talk about solutions to this problem, you hear so many different perspectives. Some people will say cattle colonies is the solution. Some people say the re-establishment of grazing routes is the solution. Some people say we have to establish ranches across the Federation, all of which have been roundly rejected by the state governments within the Middle Belt that are being affected by the crisis that we see. In view of that, is there a solution to this problem that is missing, that is not being discussed on the part of the federal government? Because it seems that everything that they have brought out has been rejected by the relevant state governments. Is there something that actually can be done and agreed on by all parties, in your view?
Before we go into those elements of solution, it's important to note that when Hitler and his allies threatened global peace, Hitler had to be militarily defeated first before there was a denazification program. So the first thing that has to and needs to be done in this situation is to militarily defeat all of these elements that have threatened the balance of Nigeria's peace and security. That's the first point of solution. Number two, the narratives on this particular subject matter has to be very, very clear. If the narrative is not clear, especially from the political office holders or the political flank, it will actually set a confusion as to what the security apparatus or organization should do. So the narratives have to be set very, very clear. And then I want to ask this question. From the time when the open grazing prohibition and ranches establishment law of Benue State was enacted in 2017 till now, how many cattle or pastoralists or cattle breeders organizations have approached the Benue State government for land for ranches? How many of them? The question is none. All because they are not prepared to take a sustainable, culturally relevant approach to solution. They are bent on imposing their Stone Age culture of open grazing on the rest of the Nigerians, and that offends our sensibility.
Mr. Ogbole, so, I have to push back on this point, because I'm aware of the contents of the law, and it's very clear that even if a herdsman or a pastoralist wants to procure land, that he has to do so in phases of 1 year, 1 year leases essentially. So the idea that he's being offered an opportunity to purchase land in perpetuity to be able to conduct his business is not really, it's a bit misleading, because clearly they're being relegated to 1 year leases. Is it not fair to say that in some ways that the herdsman, in this case the pastoralists, are being limited from having access to land that others in other industries are having access to?
Ajuri, it's important to note that not everything is as they appear. When you get to the root of all of this clamor and the shifting issues from cattle colonies to grazing reserves and so on, it is nothing but a drive towards land acquisition. If you note the history of the Fulanis, they come from Guinea, where they are not allowed, to hold political power. So having had 3 presidents, 7 presidents in Nigeria, they feel that that's a political platform for them to be able to lay claim to Nigeria as a land that belongs to them. So they are inviting, their fellow Fulanis from all over West Africa to come to Nigeria, and they are even arrogating the right of conquest over Nigeria. I'm coming, please. So all of this is nothing but a land acquisition move If you see the content of the grazing reserve proposition, the cattle colony, they bear the same string. The land they are requesting a land that they can own, a land that they can further develop into an emirate within the enclaves of Nigeria.
Mr. Ogbole, now I'm going to
allocate it to Fulanis all over from one community to the other is something that is appalling and is something that is unacceptable.
I'm going to come in here because, first of all,
it's a land grab mission.
We have to be very careful in terms of how, of whether or not we're discriminating against a people. Because first of all, if you are offering land in perpetuity to a foreign investor to establish a factory, and he wants to establish a set of factories beginning with one, you will not say that he's coming in to establish a foreign government or a foreign territory. In the case of the herdsmen, you're alleging an emirate. Does that not have the undertone of ethnic discrimination?
Whoever comes to equity must have or must come with clean hands. We are not discriminating against them. We are saying the system must be equitable in the sense that if they come up to us to request land that they can own to establish their ranches or to graze freely, they should be able to give land to Benue indigents up north who rear pigs.
You're going to get
they should be able to give land to Benue indigents
you're going to get a chance to finish your thought.
Who are able to do the agricultural activities.
Mr. Ogbole, you're going to get a chance
Equity
to finish your thought. We're going to, unfortunately, just take a short break, and we will be back in a moment. You will finish your thought. Our viewers, please do stay with us.